Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans. Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of the weekly top sports stories going on in the sports world today. I am your host, Eric. My main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
We
I
had
think
so
I
much.
got a sneaky feeling we're going to get some people upset. So I'm sorry, Atlanta, ahead of time.
Yeah, WDJY 99.1 FM, Saturdays between 1 and 3, the Atlanta market. We are going to cover some of the NFL draft in our leadoff. So don't be upset with us. Let us know what you think about the pick as well. So
Yeah, if
much
not,
to
I'll
cover,
call it
Ron.
they pick.
What a great night we had last night as well. So if you didn't have time to join us, check out Sports Unfolded NFL Draft Watch Party on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, on all our social media platforms. What a great show we had. 4 hours just talking draft. But guess
4
what? We
hours of
get
pure fun.
pure fun. We kept Kenny up, which was amazing. That's always fun as well. But we are going to start off with our leadoff story, Ron, and that was about last night in the 2024 NFL draft. Your thoughts on what happened? Some winners, some losers, things you liked, things you think may happen today.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of offense. Um, I didn't really care for a lot of picks, especially early on. Atlanta really blew it, to be honest with you. I think they blew it. That was one of the worst picks of the draft, not to be undone by the Bo Nix pick
Yeah,
that
yeah.
early. What was
Both of
it,
those
number
teams
12?
are losers on my board. Again, way too high for Bo Nix at 12. Michael Penix Jr., and this is what I really
Oh,
wanted to talk about a little bit tonight. Uh, Listening to a lot of the sports talk today, and a lot of people trying to talk themselves into that pick, and they were trying to compare it to Aaron Rodgers, trying to compare it to Jordan Love, and I looked at it this way: if the Atlanta Falcons were already established and had a winning culture and were winning, then I would be okay with that pick, because then you could say, hey, look, Green Bay did it while they were winning, picked up the quarterback to replace their future Hall of Fame quarterback. Makes sense. The Atlanta Falcons are not established. They are trying to build something. They needed to get a
difference,
piece at 8.
Eric, the difference is in this is when Love came out, he was highly touted, right?
Still high when
When
he went.
when Aaron Rodgers came out, he was highly touted.
Aaron Rodgers,
This
yes.
is Penix that was at best, the top 5 quarterbacks in the top 5, right? But where he was drafted, it was far, far from where he should have been drafted. And I just think it was just a little too early. A little too early.
Yeah, listen, and again, I think the problem I have with the pick was, does Atlanta not have any holes? They needed defense. They needed some other pieces. You needed, solidify the offensive line. I know they're not the
Right.
sexy picks. I know they're not the picks that you sit back and go, wow, what a great pick. But you were trying to build a winner. And to me, they keep talking about the future. How about winning now before you worry about the future? And this is why I think Bill Belichick wouldn't have worked in Atlanta as we see it now, because these guys just don't get what's going on. Couple of
No.
winners for me. Chicago. I thought Caleb Williams. Listen, we talked about the Justin Fields and getting rid of Fields, but I like that the fact that they partnered him with Rome and Dunzy. I thought that was a great move to at least establish them two right off the bat. Arizona, Marvin Harrison Jr., then you get Darius Robinson. So again, offense and defense,
Right.
similar to you got loud there. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Darius Robinson. So similar to what Houston did. I thought that was a great move. I liked what the Giants did.
Yes, I do.
Right? Because they could have very easily tried to do this quarterback thing that everybody else was doing. And they have an opt-out with Daniel Jones for next year. So why not try one more year, try to put some talent around him, and see if the kid can produce instead of going into this thing now and starting all over.
Right. And, we talked about a lot of different scenarios throughout that draft. And I'm just stunned at some of the teams and what they do. And they always find themselves, back at the bottom or at the top of the draft, and that's it's just bad. Like, I don't like that Chicago Bears traded away Fields.
Agreed.
But at least they did something that was pretty decent in the draft. I mean, they had a couple of guys that they got out of this, and I just think that some of these teams are always making the same mistakes. And now, this is 2 years in a row, though. I got to give the Jets some credit here. This is 2 years in a row they've actually impressed me in the draft. So, I mean, maybe they're turning a corner. They still need to learn how to win. They still need to get some good luck during a season, too.
Probably get a guy that's more positive because Aaron Rodgers, didn't like the pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that he should complain really about that.
Yeah,
it just
get yourself a tackle that can actually block, so you're not taking sacks. But he wanted I'm sure a position player. I agree with you. I thought Philadelphia as well. Quinion Mitchell, I like that pick. I think he was a steal at where he went.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had him as my top cornerback on my board, and I was stunned where he got picked.
Yeah.
Yeah. He shouldn't have lasted that long.
Agreed.
But again, you have this panic, which for the title of the show, the panic that some teams have when, the quarterbacks go and then they're like panicking to try to get their quarterback. And, I mean, what is really the difference between going with Penix or just taking a quarterback in the second round and try to make sure that he's prepared? But they're not doing that.
We have a little fun with our starting five after, and it's all number one draft picks that were quarterbacks through NFL history. And guess what? There wasn't a lot of great ones.
There was not.
So having these first round draft picks as a quarterback doesn't necessarily mean anything. Listen, 6 quarterbacks in the first 12 picks, NFL record, 14 straight offensive players, NFL record. So we saw a lot of offense. What about any other winners, Ron, before we talk about maybe a couple more losers? I know we talked about Atlanta a little bit.
I like Minnesota's draft. I thought they did a good job, especially, moving their pick around. I think they did a pretty decent job. It might be. Yeah. Las Vegas, actually, I think they handled it pretty well.
So we disagree. I thought Las Vegas, after reading up on some stuff, last year drafted Mike Mayer in the second round at tight end, the kid out of Notre Dame. So getting another tight end probably wasn't the best option, especially in the first round. Yes, Brock Bowers was the best rated tight end coming out.
And I think they took the best talent available. And that isn't, look, I get it. They had a guy for that position, but what is wrong with going to a 2 tight end thing like the New England Patriots did back when they had the axe murderer?
Yeah, but but I will say too, though, that if you look at what they needed a quarterback. They still needed some offensive line. They still had some holes on defense.
Yeah, but I mean, they weren't going to pull the trigger on a quarterback there, and that would be really bad. That would have compiled the problem.
Yeah, but we said a lot of those defensive guys that were available, I would have probably looked at.
Well, yeah,
or another tight end.
Yeah, I mean, they could have filled the hole there, but at least they did take the best available player.
Oh, Kenny, thanks for joining. And I will say this: I thought Minnesota didn't do as well because if you look at, they got good players. JJ McCarthy was still, the verdict will be out on that in a couple of years. And Dallas Turner, but I felt so much like they wanted to move up, and yet they couldn't pull off a deal. And I think that's why I put him as a loser in yesterday's draft in round 1, because I really felt like that was their whole existence last night was they got the 2 picks so that they could go all in and try to get into the top 3. And
but they didn't
find a way to do it.
Yeah, I get that, but I think they improved their team more. I know they need a quarterback. But again, moving up to go get Penix or Nix,
I really think they wanted Drake May.
Yeah, they probably did, but I'm saying, why give up a lot of that? They can go get a quarterback again in the second round, and he might end up being, look, Brady in the 6th round, Purdy, the last player. I mean, you can go get a player.
Exactly.
You can get a quarterback.
No, without a doubt. And I will say this, last shot at the Atlanta Falcons, I love Raheem Morris's press conference when he was talking about the future and understanding that he's probably not going to be there because they're going to stink. He's going to get fired. So picking up Michael Penix Jr. really does nothing for you because you
No, for Atlanta, that was a bad pick. That was bad. And, I mean, they're a team that needs to prepare now, the next couple of seasons. They have some good players, and they missed the boat on some defensive pieces that would have made a difference this year, especially in a very weak division. Now, I don't think they're any better than what they were last year, and to me, that means Tampa Bay is still going to be better than them.
Ron.
And Carolina has improved. Yeah, Atlanta could be in trouble.
Ron, think about the impact it had with Kirk Cousins, who signs that big deal, gets $100 million guaranteed.
You just pissed him off.
You're basically saying, look, up 2 years, you're out.
Yeah.
Why would you even do that at this point?
Makes that was no sense.
One of the biggest free agent signings we thought this season was Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta and how that improved.
Yeah, you don't think New England fans would have wanted him?
So it just blows my mind. I don't get it, but we'll see how this all transpires. But again, great night last night. Again, round 2 starts tonight at 7 p.m. 2 and 3 tonight. And I will say this, check out that NFL Draft Watch Party on Rhode Island Broadcasting, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. What a great show it was last night. A big dog joined us as well. All right, Ron, we're going to talk some more NFL, though. We've got a lot to cover in the NFL. So let me ask you this question. So a lot of talk last night that there was a possible trade being offered from the New England Patriots and the Minnesota Vikings. And there was Mr. Justin Herbert was on the table. And I don't know if you believe it or not, but should Los Angeles had discussed that, James, thanks for joining, and actually accepted that possible trade for Justin Herbert?
Looking at the draft, I don't think they should have. Because I think Herbert is going to be better than anything that's in this draft. At least in the next year or two. I mean, look, anybody can be wrong, right? I'm looking at this draft thinking, okay, this is not a clear-cut, group of quarterbacks that we know that they're going to make it. And frankly, I fear a little for at least 3 or 4 of them.
So let me ask you this question, Ron. A lot Thank you, James, by the way. A lot discussed about J.J. McCarthy and Jim Harbaugh, how he said he was the best quarterback coming out in the draft. Let's just say you trade Justin Herbert to New England, and the third overall pick is Justin Herbert, is J.J. McCarthy. Now, isn't that the guy that you just said that you believe would be the best option at quarterback coming out of the draft? That's where I thought it was interesting. I think the only reason why they didn't pull this move off, it was like a $63 million cap hit. So you think about what Denver's going through, it would have been worse for Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only reason why. But just the fact that I was more impressed New England even asked, because you don't hear that often, that New England's trying to get a top player. And then we know Minnesota was going to be involved in trying to get somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you look at those teams that needed him, I'm surprised that there weren't more teams that would kick the tires and try to get Herbert. Personally, I think maybe that's what Chicago should have done. I mean, if you're going to give up Fields to draft a quarterback that is basically going to be Fields,
yeah.
I mean, you might as well try to get something for it, right? You might as well say, hey, why not Herbert or even some of the other quarterbacks in the league? I mean, you never know. Is Cleveland sold on their quarterback?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that situation is going to be interesting to see how that plays out this season as well.
So this is what I'm saying. I'm surprised Chicago didn't do that, because I think they were in the best position to do it, and they didn't.
Yeah, I could see that. Justin Herbert, Charger next season.
I got a commercial playing in my head.
Is it a good commercial?
I don't know.
So is Justin Herbert going to be a Los Angeles Charger next season, in your opinion?
I mean, now, yeah, definitely. I mean, he has to be. I mean, there's no way they trade him. What are they going to trade him for now?
I'm saying next year. Do you think Jim Harbaugh just decides?
Oh, you mean 2025 season?
Yeah.
Well, that remains to be seen. Depending on what happens, I mean, this is what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, matter of fact, how, Herbert went and had, a lot of talent with him, and he just can't get them to really get a playoff push.
Yeah.
And now, if it's not the coach, the next step is the quarterback, right?
Yeah, and I think
you change everything else. If they can't get into the playoffs, then the quarterback is the problem.
Very well could be. Another team we wanted to talk about real quick, the Cincinnati Bengals. A little bit of turmoil going on here. Now, two of their big stars, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, both are asking for trades. How do you think this is going to pan out?
Oh, that's the wrong one. Look, I'm surprised at all this. I mean, you got a guy that can contend for a Super Bowl, leading the way. I don't understand why they're all trying to abandon what they're building over there. It makes no sense to me. I mean, there has to be something, in that locker room that's not right.
Yeah,
and I don't have a clue, because it's not getting out yet. But with all these people wanting out, it's eventually going to come out.
Yeah, listen, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, both been with the team for a few years now. So T. Higgins, 4 years, 257 receptions, 3,684 yards, 24 touchdowns, averages 14.3 yards per reception. So there's going to be plenty of teams that would be interested in him. The problem would be with T. Higgins is that franchise tag, $21.8 million he's going to get paid this season. And again, if you were going to try to trade him, that team has to be able to eat that entire salary. So you got to find somebody that's willing to get $21.8 million in for T. Higgins. I'm not saying he's not a quality wide receiver, but some of that may be because of the guy on the other side there, and Jamar Chase makes your job a little easier. John Taylor was pretty good wide receiver, but guess what? He was much better because Jerry Rice was on the other side with San Francisco.
It seems to be, a little easier in the coverage when you have that great next to you. I mean, it makes it easier. So will T. Higgins move somewhere and then be a bust? That's the problem.
Yeah, and then
I don't know if I'd take that risk.
The interesting,
but if I have a lot of the money, I
Yeah.
would.
The interesting one too, Trey Hendrickson, very quietly, the 3 years he's been in Cincinnati, has been one of the top players in the league. 109 tackles, 39 and a half sacks, and 9 forced fumbles in the 3 years with Cincinnati. 20 million, 8 million dead cap space. I could see them trying to move Hendrickson if a team's willing to take on that contract.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's still some teams out there that have some space. I mean, what do you want for him?
Yeah.
That could be where the thing is. I mean, if you got to move somebody.
New England's got money to burn. New England's got money to burn, by the way.
I know.
Which I don't know where it is.
Well, we shored up Bourne and a few others. Duggar. That's where all the money is. In re-signing all the quality players from last year.
Yeah. All right, Ron, let us know what you think about the Bengals in their situation. Again, this is Sports Unfolded. We are live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, so many different platforms. You have something, Ron?
I just find it hard to believe that these guys would want to leave a franchise. And it's the only franchise in the AFC that has any clue on how to beat Kansas City. I understand it. It makes no sense to me. You have just as good a shot to win a Super Bowl there as anywhere, if not better than most.
Yeah. It's got to be a financial thing.
Because I think they're the best team outside of Kansas City.
Yeah, has to be a financial thing. And maybe the health of Joe Burrow and just the confidence they have that he'll be around. Again, if you are listening to us on WDJY, it's Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. You check us out live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to let us know what you think about the Atlanta Falcons and what they did in the draft. Again, if you like to follow us on all our social media platforms at Sports Unfolded, at Rhode Island Broadcasting, there's so many different outlets that you can follow us and share us. Donate stars bits as well. Help us and support our show. We should have some merch coming soon. Working on that now. So we'll have some merchandise as well coming out for Sports Unfolded. A lot going on with the Sports Unfolded world. So continue to help us grow, join, and we'll talk about sponsorships after and how you can sponsor our show, get your name on hundreds of thousands of eyes each and every week. Ron, it is time for Starting Five. So our starting five tonight, we like to have a little fun with this NFL draft. So we decided we were going to have our starting five overall number one draft pick that were quarterbacks. So we looked at all the quarterbacks that have been drafted number one overall, and we had to come up with five that would start for us. I am first this week. I will start with my honorable mentions, and then you will have your honorable mentions before we get into our list.
I find it hard to believe we have different ones.
It's going to be very, very good. Yes, I don't think so. The four you got on there, yes, very good. I will say honorable mention, and only because of two Super Bowl championships, both two Super Bowl MVPs and he beat the greatest quarterback of all time, Eli Manning, even though he was 500. Honorable mention. Just an honorable mention. Jared Goff, believe it or not, I liked his numbers. Honorable mention. And then Alex Smith. Honorable mention. And those were my honorable mentions, Ron. Did you have any?
Well, yes. I also had Eli because of those two Super Bowls. Other than that, his numbers stunk.
Yeah, 500 quarterback.
Alex Smith definitely had him on the list, and I definitely had Jared Goff on the list. Believe it or not,
I know.
had Jared Goff. I also had Andrew Luck as.
I thought about it. Not enough wins for me.
I still think he was better than the rest of these guys.
Yeah.
So he was the one that I'm going to say he was on the bubble, but not really. I never considered him to be in the top 5 because it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But his numbers were stellar for the little that he played. But that was my
honorable mentions. Very good.
Honorable mentions. I left off Michael Vick and Drew Bledsoe. They were almost an honorable mention, but I'm like, nah, I can't. Drew's record wasn't good enough.
So we may have one different, and the one different is because at 5 for me, Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. His
Drew Bledsoe. I know. Listen, 98 and 95, so his record wasn't great, but 250 touchdowns, 4-time Pro Bowl, and he got the 1 championship, even though he was a backup in that Super Bowl. I went Drew Bledsoe based on a lot of these other guys, and I didn't like their numbers, but I'm sure you have a different number 5. So who's your number 5 in our starting 5?
And I could have never imagined putting this guy in here in the top 5. That's why he's not up there, because I don't think he belongs with the other 4. And that is Carson Palmer.
What?
I'm stunned that I put him in.
This is almost as shocking as taking Michael Penix Jr. at number 8.
But listen to the numbers: 92, 88, and 1. Was okay compared to the other honorable mentions.
Drew had more wins.
Yeah, he did, but not as good as a winning percentage.
Okay.
62.5 completion percentage, which was
better than
Drew's 57.2.
Agreed.
46,247 yards, more than Drew Bledsoe.
2,000.
7.3 yards per attempt, better than Drew Bledsoe's 6.6. 294 touchdowns, better than Drew Bledsoe's 251.
He also had Larry Fitzgerald. Let's not forget.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Who was Drew Bledsoe's best wide receiver? Terry Glenn. It's not even close.
Hey, she was pretty good.
Who?
Terry Glenn was pretty good.
He was good. He was at Larry Fitzgerald.
Right, so 187 interceptions.
Less than
Drew Bledsoe had 206 more interceptions. So another one that he bit. Bledsoe had 4
Pro Bowls.
Carson Palmer had 3. But that's where we're at. So I put
Carson. You're the championship guy.
I know.
Drew should have got in.
Believe me, I couldn't.
All right.
I only wanted to put 4.
So we've got.
I'm not even sure about number 4.
All right. So at 4 for me. And this is just, we're going to see how this order goes. This is where we may differ a little bit. But at 4 for me, James, don't hate me. Troy Aikman, 94 and 71, 61.5% completion percentage, 32,942 yards, 165 touchdowns, 141 interceptions. 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time champ. That was my number 4.
Yeah. I don't think that's right. 3-time champ, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Okay.
But number 4 for me was Terry Bradshaw. I love the fact that he comes ready to play in the playoffs, Super Bowl time, you know. He had 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He had 4 championships, only 1 more than Troy.
Okay.
So
we're going to argue this one.
No, I'm just saying it's only 1 more than Troy.
Okay.
Although If I can find his numbers, I can't find them. But anyway, Terry Bradshaw, his record 107.51, great record.
Had an All-Pro, no All-Pro for Troy Aikman.
Yeah, I know.
13
That's why
more wins,
it's
20
close.
less losses.
But the problem is 212 touchdowns, 210 interceptions.
He still had more.
That's pretty bad.
Troy Aikman had 165 touchdowns.
Yeah, I understand that, but it was way over 500.
And then
this is like 500. Like
okay,
he's throwing 1 for 1.
but look at the wins.
I know.
13 more wins, 20 less losses. 20 less losses.
Some time with this, but
and an extra championship and an All-Pro.
His completion percentage 51.9. Troy Aikman 61.5. Way better.
Aikman was better than Bradshaw. I don't agree.
I think he is. I think Troy Aikman is better than Bradshaw.
No,
so
I
had Bradshaw at number 4.
I had Bradshaw at 3.
And I had Aikman.
And I'm going to go with 13 more wins, 20 less losses, an All-Pro, in 1 more championship. So I went Terry Bradshaw at 3.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you're splitting hairs.
Go ahead.
But the hairs are more on the side of...
You don't even have hairs, so you can't split them. And that's what I'm saying. It's definitely Aikman is below Terry Bradshaw. But go ahead.
No, I don't think so.
Who's at 3?
My 3 is Troy Aikman.
Okay, so you flip-flop the 2. Okay.
Flip-flop the 2.
All right. So at number 2, John Elway. 148 wins, 82 losses, 1 tie, 51,475 yards passing, a 56.9% completion percentage, 300 touchdowns, 226 interceptions.
Yeah, he was clearly number 2.
9-time Pro Bowler, 1-time MVP, 2-time champ, 1-time Super Bowl MVP. So I went Elway.
And the toughness on Elway, too.
Listen, he was a gunslinger. Like when they talk gunslinger, him and Marino, the two of them, and just who threw the ball harder.
Yeah.
It's fun. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And clutch.
And I'll finish off number 1, assuming you got my number 2. Peyton Manning was way ahead.
Phenomenal numbers.
Was not even close.
Phenomenal.
Not even close.
Best regular season quarterback of all time.
When you look at...
I have to throw it in there. Sorry.
That's good. No Christmas card. Yeah. When you look at those numbers, I mean, it's just ridiculous. 186.79 is his record. 65.3 completion percentage.
That's astonishing.
71,940 yards. That is an unbelievable. It's more than double on most of these players.
Yeah.
More than double. 7.7 yards per attempt. 539 touchdowns. And only 251 interceptions.
Yeah.
That is tremendous. 14 All-Pro.
Pro Bowls.
John Elway was second with 9.
Yeah. Pro Bowls. Yeah.
Pro Bowls. What did I say?
All-Pro. 7-time All-Pro, though.
7-time All-Pro.
Not bad.
Which is more than everybody else that I put on any of the lists.
And think about this.
Guy that didn't make it.
Ron, think about this part of it. For the fact that he was a 7-time All-Pro with Tom Brady and Drew Brees. And yet he was 7 times the best quarterback in the league.
Rodgers.
Right? So 5-time MVP as well.
5-time MVP, 1 Super Bowl MVP. He was clearly the best out of all of these guys.
Peyton Manning. All right, Ron. That was our starting 5. Let's bring up our next installment of Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame for the NFL. The polls are up now at Sports Unfolded Sports Polls. Check it out. And who would you vote in for the NFL? But we're going to start off with our miscellaneous. because I guess
Yeah,
that's the way
sorry.
you want to go. Muhammad
Yeah.
Ali, Diego Maradona, Bonnie Blair, Michael Phelps, and Billie Jean King are
Good luck with this one. Good luck with this one.
all up for our Sports Unfolded Hall of
Let's
Fame.
see what you got. Calling out you fans. Calling them out. You go
Who
vote.
are you going to vote for right now? I mean, we got some early voting
Put it
already
in
in.
the comments. So
Early voting already in. And right now, this poll just went up literally less than an hour ago. And we are, let's see where we're at currently, Ron. Michael Phelps is currently leading in this category. So get your votes in. Let's see if we can.
he's got unbelievable hardware to prove that point.
Greatest
right?
Olympian ever. Right, correct, James.
Here we
Let's
go. Here's a
let,
couple of votes right here.
let's get them in. Get on that
Here's
Sports
a vote.
Unfolded sports poll page and vote for your next Sports Unfolded Hall of Famer.
Or if you're watching, just put it in the comments. Throw a comment down. Put it right there.
Ron, what about the NFL here? We got another NFL poll that we are currently up as well. As soon as we find it, it's doing pretty good here. Adam Vinatieri, Jim Brown, Reggie White, Don Hudson, and Steve Young. Who will be the next NFL Sports Hall of Famer? And though that voting as well, let's see who's leading currently. Jim Brown is dominating that one right now currently. So Jim Brown is leading. Let's get the next Sports Unfolded NFL Hall of Famer currently inducted into the Hall of Fame. Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Lawrence Taylor, who joins them from the NFL. And we're going to have somebody from a different sport that's out there. So looking forward to this.
Well, unless Billie Jean King wins.
Tennis. Get somebody on tennis.
You know, Billie Jean King could be in there, but we could have a swimmer. We could have a boxer.
Boxer, right? We haven't had boxing in there yet. James, get on that poll. Sports Unfolded. Sports poll. It's up everywhere.
Well, he's
It'll
got
be
his votes right there.
on our page. I can't add the votes.
You can add the votes.
I can't. That's a lot of work for me. All right. Ron.
You just add them at the end.
Ron, let us talk about some NBA. And we got the Boston Celtics. We want to talk a little bit about the Boston Celtics. This could be a Ron rant and Eric rant. I think this is where we're going to go with this tonight. Should the Boston Celtics panic after their Game 2 loss to the Miami Heat?
Yeah. Should they? No. But I mean, come on. Like, we're revisiting this again. Again, how this team chokes in the playoff. They can't get up for these teams that they should roll over.
Thank you.
And it's so sickening to watch this when you got all these stars and you can't get out of your own way because you don't get up for a team in the playoffs.
You made moves to avoid this situation happening, right? Drew Holiday, you get Kristaps Porzingis, you start to look at it, it's a different build. You win 64 games, and here you go again with a series that you should have swept.
Yeah.
With them missing their best player in Jimmy Butler. And here we go playing these stupid games again, where we're going to make it as difficult as possible, go 6-7 games. Even if you come out of this thing now, you don't get rest. You're going right into another series. This is what's killed this team. They don't have that killer instinct to say, we need to just put this thing to bed.
Look, they stink in the fourth quarters.
Put it to bed.
I'm sorry. That's what they do. They stink in the fourth quarter. And they can't get up for teams that they should beat easily.
And I don't want to hear about Miami.
Playoffs.
The Miami Heat and their record-breaking 3 points made in a playoff game in their history. You know what you do to stop that? Play some defense. Here's an idea. Guard the perimeter. Slow them down. This is something they didn't do. So it wasn't that Miami hit more threes than ever. It's the fact that you just sat back and allowed them to hit the threes because you didn't defend it.
Because you can't get up for a game. That's
It's
what it comes down to.
ridiculous.
There's no heart. There's no heart on this team.
They are not winning a
How
championship.
many times did we
They're
see
not
all
winning a
season?
championship.
Their losses are to bad teams.
I will say this,
I
Ron.
don't understand it.
I will say this. People can blame the coach. People can blame schemes. People can blame it. You know who I'm blaming right now? You've got two guys that are supposed to be legitimate superstars in the NBA, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Where is their fire? Where is their spark? Where is this alpha to say, I need to be the best and beat these teams? It isn't happening. They sit back and they allow teams to punch them in the mouth. And you know what they do? They just sit down and take it.
Yeah.
How about you show some heart and you show them that, first of all, it was at home. If it was in Miami,
and that makes it worse.
You say, you're right, it's at home. They're horrible at home. It's like they take it for granted. How do teams beat you at home in the postseason? It's ridiculous.
Clearly inferior.
Ridiculous. This is an absolute joke, and I would be panicking because this just goes to show that this Boston Celtic team hasn't changed and isn't going to win a championship because of it. You're going to face.
I don't see that they're going to win the championship. I haven't seen a reason to even think that.
Look at what Denver's doing to the Lakers.
They're dismantling them.
Far superior, right? And they're showing it. Even when they're down in the first half sometimes by 15 points, and then they just slowly take over and show that they're more dominant. Where is that from the Boston Celtics?
You don't have it. It's not there. Look, when you play a team that is clearly inferior, and that's a team that's playing Denver that has LeBron. But they are clearly inferior to that Denver team because they're so good, well-balanced, well-rounded, and you got a guy that plays out of his mind with just the desire to win. Where is that in Boston? Where is that in Boston?
It doesn't exist.
It's not on the floor.
It doesn't exist. And Mazzulla really's got to sit back and say, listen, this should never happen. This should never happen.
If they don't get to the finals this season, they need to dismantle. This is what I said last year.
They can't dismantle now. They just signed all these guys.
Yeah,
this is the team going forward.
It's not working.
You need to get a pit bull. Somebody that's going to at least go at, and I'm not saying pit bulls just in case anybody out there, but I will just say you need something that's aggressive, that's going to want to win, that's going to want to fight. And this team just sits back. I don't understand it every year. And you said 64 wins. You showed you were the best team in the NBA all season long. And then you get into the playoffs and then you just sit back and allow these teams to beat you up.
Yeah. You need a guy like a Rodman.
Somebody that, just says, listen, I don't care. I'll take a foul. I'm going to maybe get a tech, maybe get thrown out of a game, but I'm not going to let this
somebody's leg.
Yeah, I'm not going to let this team beat me. I don't get it, man. I don't. And then Tatum's favorite player is Kobe Bryant, and you can have your feelings about who's ranked top 5 all time, if Kobe's in or not. Kobe
doesn't quit.
Kobe was. I mean, he was just a dog when it came to that. You were not. If you were going to beat him, you were going to beat him. Because he wasn't going to give you it. Where is that from Jason Tatum if that's your favorite player and that's the guy you idolized?
Yeah, where is the fourth quarter heroics? They don't have them. They don't have them.
You get the highest paid player in the NBA in Jaylen Brown. Ridiculous. Absolute joke. I can't. I'm so sick of that every year, the same thing with these Boston Celtics. We're 4 years of this program, and all 4 years, they piss me off every year, every single year.
But they do.
They better win the next 3. or we're gonna oh, just wait. Just wait. I cannot. Oh boy. I can't, Ron. I can't.
You're
All right,
leaving
let's
his heart.
yeah, bring him back. All right, Ron. We're gonna talk some Major League Baseball. And this was an interesting story. And as I was putting this out there, I was thinking, what would we talk about when it came to this? So Aaron Boone, I don't know if the other day he got ejected from a game.
Yeah.
Warned him if he said another word, he's out. A fan behind the dugout said something. The umpire threw Aaron Boone out. Should Major League Baseball enforce a challenge for ejections so that these managers, because the umpires have so much control and power, can just do what they want?
Well, that's on the umpire, frankly. That's on the umpire. The other umpires should be able to overrule. And to me, this sounds like a bigger problem than anything. And look, I mean, there's a lot of cities that don't like the Yankees because of their payroll, right? But when you really think about it, they're actually paying for the other team's payrolls. One of the teams that are. So they shouldn't complain about those teams that have the higher payroll. And I know there's going to be haters everywhere. And when you get an umpire that doesn't like your team, and I see it all the time. Look, who made the comment
so
the
mad
other
now.
night with the Bruins game when it was clear that they weren't calling penalties on Toronto and giving them all the power plays and phantom penalties on the Bruins, and they're letting things go the other way, and it's just infuriating. And referees and umpires have too much say in the game, and they're making mistakes. Whether it's on purpose or not, I don't know, but
Ron,
I
when
think there needs to be an investigation for that umpire that
when
threw him
Boone
out.
when Boone came out and said it wasn't me, it was a fan. The ump said, "I know, I don't care. You're out. You're gone."
Right.
Like,
And
think
that
about that.
umpire should be suspended.
Exactly.
Period.
Who holds them accountable to any of this stuff? This is where these leagues are starting to fail. They don't hold
Yeah.
these referees, these umpires to
No.
any kind of accountability. There's bad calls being made, and I get it. The sports are fast. You may miss something. I understand that. But this was a deliberate attempt to just throw a guy out that you don't like.
Right.
And he has no recourse. He can't appeal. He can't say, let's look at a replay. Let's listen. Nope. Sorry, you're gone. Period. Done. There needs to
Right.
be something in place where these umpires understand you're not the end all be all. And I don't get.
And that's how it's been in baseball for a long time. And they don't change their ways. You have to hold the umpires and referees in sports accountable. They can't just say what they want and do what they want. They got to follow rules too. And it is infuriating watching a game when something like this happens, and that is crucial at times because that manager has to make the decisions, and now you're leaving it up to a guy that isn't supposed to do that and may make a wrong decision and it cost you games.
I remember, and I don't know if you remember, and I think this is what managers need to do. The
But
Bobby
as a Red
Valentine.
Sox fan, I say good.
The Bobby Valentine move where you throw on the fake mustache
Right.
and you come back into the dugout. Like, that was classic. But this is what
That
it's
was
coming to,
hilarious.
right? Because honestly, if you don't like somebody as an umpire, you'll throw them out in the first inning. It doesn't matter what's being said.
Right.
And then you're calling balls and strikes in a way that you clearly know it wasn't a strike, but you just want to piss off that manager so that he does say something.
Right. What the Yankees need to do in this case, and I think all teams in every sport should take a look at this and when there's something like that that happens, they need to put the evidence there and then go further with it. Is he calling things wrong on purpose? And really take a look at that umpire's record and all of his games, all of his calls. And I think that's the thing that the team needs to do and bring it to the league, because that's the only option you have right now. Because you still have to get rule changes approved, one way or the other, and players aren't going to be able to do that. The managers aren't going to be able to do that. It's the team ownership that's going to do that.
Get the damn robots. I'm ready. I didn't want them.
I've been ready.
I didn't want it. Now I want it because I am
been
tired
ready
of
for
this.
that.
I am so pissed off about that too.
It's so inconsistent, and it's in every league. Every league. I don't care what league it is. Could be curling for all it is. It's the same thing.
NBA. How many times does a star player not get a call called against him because he's a star player and you can't take him out of the game? It doesn't matter. Like that shouldn't be a rule either. Like, how's that a rule?
No.
How does that make sense? If he commits a foul, it's a foul.
Yeah.
It just
and it just doesn't happen. When a cross check goes one way for one team and then you don't call it on the other team, how is that fair? It's not. And you can't tell me that they're not seeing it, because when in these leagues now you have 2, 3, 4 people on the ice, court, field, whatever, and they see everything. They see everything. So it's a choice on whether or not they call it.
Curling is self-governing. Self-governed. I love it. Yes, James, right? That's it.
So schoolyard rules.
And they even got the little curling thing, man. Like, I didn't even know they had that emoji. That's amazing.
Oh, they get the rock.
Right? That is awesome. That is awesome. All right. Let us know what you think out there. Comment, join in, follow us on all our social media platforms. Let us know what you think about this ejection. Can umpires just do what they want, or should there be repercussions? Again, if you are listening to us on WDJY 99.1 FM in Atlanta, Georgia, let us know. Join us. Join our social media platforms. Follow us.
Georgia.
Dallas, Georgia. It's in Atlanta.
Technically Dallas, Georgia.
All right. Excuse us.
Just saying.
And follow us and like us. Watch us live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We look forward to hearing from you and all our fans that join us live.
Absolutely.
Ron, it is time for Split Decisions.
It's time. It's time.
Our Split Decision segment, basically, we give each other two more likely scenarios, and we have to make a decision on those, and we have to live with those decisions. So, Ron, I am first this week. I will start us off with my first split decision. Who is more likely to have more wins this NFL season? Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, or Drake May? This is a first.
Crazy.
You're speechless. I've never.
This is because I'm shuffling through everything. Okay, Chicago Bears. God, they're terrible, right? They're terrible.
Commanders not much
better. But then I think, okay, Washington. Oh my God, they're gonna play Dallas, Philadelphia, and the Giants. So I don't think them. Then I'm looking at the New England Patriots, and I'm like, well, they have the Jets, Miami, and Buffalo. All could be worse than what they were a year ago. So I'm going to go Drake May.
Wow. That is a shocker. Drake May will have more wins than Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. Wow.
Might only end up with one.
Wow. Over under 6 wins. Over under 6 wins. Under 6 wins. Wow. So the others are really bad.
Wins and still have more.
So the other ones are, wow, really bad. All right, Ron, your first split decision.
Oh, that was a good one. That was fun. That was fun. All right, see, we just finished with baseball. Which team will more likely have the best record in the American League at the end of the season? Baltimore Orioles, Cleveland Indians, or the New York Yankees?
Baltimore.
Really?
Yeah. Over 100 wins last season. I don't think they lost steam. I think they're just as good as they were last year. They already took over first place in the American League East. I think Baltimore.
The Yankees.
Yeah, I think Baltimore's the best team in the East. And I
Cleveland
honestly
has the best winning percentage right now.
yeah, but I don't buy. I mean, they're in a weak division. I think when they play better, when they play better competition, I think that's where they'll start. Where I can Baltimore to me
like 19 times against their division or something.
Yeah,
or 18 times.
Yeah, Baltimore to me can beat some of the good teams. I think they have enough talent to do that. So I'd go Baltimore.
Okay,
that's a good one though.
All
right. With the Lakers being down 0-3, Ron, what is more likely? LeBron James retires, returns to the Lakers, or goes to another team that drafts Bronny James?
He's going to go to whoever drafts Bronny.
If it's like Charlotte Hornets or something. Oh.
He's gonna play 1 year with him and then retire. So if Bronny doesn't get drafted, he's screwed.
Yeah. Hashtag please draft Bronny. So we don't have
and then trade for me. Is he a free agent at the end of the year?
No, but I'm sure he'd figure a way to get out of it.
So you have to trade for him.
Yeah, he'd have to figure a way to get out of it. All right, your second split decision.
Wonderful. Okay. Which team is more likely to come back from down 2-0 in their series to win the series?
Okay.
Phoenix Suns down 2-0 or the Dallas Stars down 2-0?
Dallas is playing
Vegas.
Defending champs. Phoenix. Chakra, thanks for joining. Playing. Who's Phoenix playing again? Drawing a blank.
Is it? Wait.
Suns are playing.
It's not the Clippers.
No.
Is it Minnesota?
Yes, Minnesota. Oof. More likely to come back from 0-2.
That's a tough one, huh?
Yeah.
Because they're playing good teams.
I will say this. Defending champs know how to win. Vegas. I think it's harder to beat them because they understand in the playoffs. Minnesota, they're a good team. And I like Anthony Edwards, and I like that the squad they have there, but they haven't won at the top. They've never been at the pinnacle. So I could see it. Not that I do see it, but I could see it as Phoenix would be more likely, if that makes sense. Because
it makes sense.
So Phoenix more likely because
that way too.
Yeah, I would go Phoenix more likely than Dallas Stars. That was a very good one. That was a very good one.
It's a hard one. The first one was really difficult.
Yeah, that was good. Those are fun, man. I love doing those.
I do. Like when we get a good one, it's really difficult to pick.
You really got to think, and then you got to stick with it, man. That's your decision.
That's right.
That's your decision. All right, so let's talk some NHL, Ron. Should the Boston Bruins stick with one goalie for the rest of this playoff series against Toronto? So Jim Montgomery likes to kind of rotate the goaltenders. He's done it all year. Do you think you're at a point, though, that we should just see one goaltender for this entire series?
Well, we're going to find out tomorrow, right? Look, Swayman won both his games against Toronto.
2-0, 1.51 goals against, a 9.55 save percentage.
It's tough
Not
to
bad.
argue with that. It is tough to argue with that. but at the same token, I do understand why they're doing the 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 switch,
You're
right?
getting soft on me, Ron.
I'm not getting soft. I'm not getting soft. I just said I understand why they do it. I'm not saying that they should do it.
It's stupid.
I myself would say, okay, Swayman, you got two of them at this point. You're staying in. You're
And he's
staying in.
dominated them all season. I think he's 5-0.
And, yeah, he's just tremendous. He's a tremendous goaltender, and he's better. He's better.
So what is Jim Montgomery thinking? So this is what's pissed. I'm very upset today. I don't understand that. Celtics pissed me off. Umpires pissed me off. Jim Montgomery's pissing me
Should
off.
see the refereeing in that game. Three.
But my point would be this, Ron, though. You're messing with something that's working.
Yeah.
Like, don't tinker with something that's working.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It does. Their tandem does work by switching every game.
But it
So
didn't
it
work
has
last
worked.
season in the playoffs.
No, it did not.
So why
Because
do
they
it
didn't
again?
do that. They didn't do that. They went with
Omar,
Omar the whole
who
series.
you could say was struggling.
Swayman started game 7, so he didn't have a chance.
So, Ron, this is my point. Omar struggling. Then you finally put
Yeah.
Swayman in game 6 last year, which
No, it
was
was 7.
Was it just 7? I thought he played 6
I
too.
believe it was just 7. He
All
might
right,
have came in game 6.
Okay. So, again, didn't work. Now you've got a goaltender that's so hot, plays so well against the team. Why take him out?
I don't think he's going to come out.
So you think Swayman
they'll
starts
go-
tomorrow night?
I think Swayman starts, and if they win the game, then Olmark will go in there for the next one after that. I think that's what they'll do, so that way Olmark does get in there. Because Olmark is a good goaltender, right? I mean, he's good.
I'm not
but
saying he
some reason he can't find his game in the playoffs, and that's a problem. So if they stay with Swayman tomorrow, they could stay with him for the whole series, and then Omar may get a start in the series after that. I don't know, but I would go with Swayman because he's just dominating Toronto in every aspect of the game.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Like it just
Yeah,
blows my mind. That
it's just one of those things. It could, it's almost like the pitching thing in Major League Baseball, how they're just pitching less and they go into the bullpen, and it's almost like that.
I just had this conversation with Mickey the other day. Came and visit me. We were having a good baseball conversation. If you haven't checked out Major League Baseball rankings, every week we put out our Major League Baseball rankings. But he was right. We were saying that about pitchers. Now pitchers are blowing out their arms. You know why? Because they can't go more than 6.
They're not pitching enough.
They can't go more than 6 anymore.
Yeah.
You got a goaltender who's dominating. It's not like he's like, oh, he's okay. They're both kind of average. Swayman is dominating the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And sometimes, in sports, Ron, mentally, when a team feels like they just can't. I guess Kenny's on a delay.
Yeah.
This list is crazy. Kenny's a little late. I don't know. But I will say, like, why not use that to your advantage?
Yeah.
In Jim Montgomery, as if you're a head coach of a team right now, and you're like, this guy just pitching, same thing. How many times do you see in a playoff baseball where there's a guy that you want to go 3 games in a 7-game series because that guy can dominate that team?
Right.
Why
this
would
is
you?
What I've been saying all through history of sports. It's like, look, if I'm a team, say the Red Sox, I want a new pitcher for my team, right? I want to go out and get a guy that has the best record against my division. Best record. That's the guy I want because he wins. And that's why they won a World Series, because they had Evaldi. Evaldi played incredible against the American League East, especially the Yankees. And that's what you do. Why people don't do that, I'll never know. Hitters, you want hitters to be able to hit in your ballpark. Look for their averages in that ballpark. That's what you want. It's the same thing in any sport. Goaltenders, look at the records against those teams. That's the guy you want. That's the guy. Swayman right now is the guy because he doesn't lose to them.
If he goes with Allmark tomorrow night, and I know you don't think he does, but if he does, they may lose this series.
They could.
And it's going to be
Because if
on,
they lose
and then
that
it's on
game,
him.
And then it's on, yeah, absolutely. Then
It's on Jim
him
Montgomery. It's on Jim Montgomery.
and Omar. Both of them.
Don't put him in that situation. Great
Right.
discussion, though. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about. Are you talking about the Bruins, Kenny? All right, Ron. It is time for pick and roll.
Another great segment.
It's time for pick and roll.
I still say that's Kenny that says that.
Our pick and roll segment, basically, we try to mirror the show in some way, shape, or form. We are on episode 17 of season 4. So we decided we were going to check all these Major League Baseball players that wore number 17 in their career. And that was Shohei Ohtani, Keith Hernandez, Todd Helton, Scott Rowland, Lance Berkman, and Mark Grace. And we're going to rank them from 6 to 1. We pick them, then we roll with them.
Before we go
ahead.
I have something to say here.
All right.
Looking at these players' numbers.
Yes.
And you have Todd Helton and Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
How is Mark Grace and Keith Hernandez not in the Hall of Fame because
Crazy.
their numbers are all similar?
Based off of, yes. Maybe they
Right.
will be at some point, Ron, in the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame.
They could be. Yeah. That's
Sports
the better
Unfolded
one
Hall of Fame.
anyway.
It is.
That's the better one anyway.
It is. So we are going to rank them from 6 to 1. I am going to start us off with my list, and then we're going to roll with it. Ron, these are harder to me when the guys are so close together.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to rank them. But I clearly went with Shohei Ohtani at 6. Just not enough body of work yet. Batting .278, 720 hits, 177 home runs, 450 runs, 443 runs batted in, 3-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, 2-time Silver Slugger, 1-time Major League Baseball Player of the Year, 2-time MVP. Numbers sound great, but again, if you look at some of these other guys, they're just their numbers.
He has the
are towering.
pitching numbers, though.
I didn't count the pitching numbers.
Oh, see, that's part of the thing. That's
Yeah, I
part of the
know, but
package.
I wasn't going to do it. All right, so at 5, that put Lance Berkman for me. Batted .293 in his career, 1,905 hits. Kenny is way off. Or is he just, maybe he's going off of what you're putting up there now. Lance Berkman,
Yeah, he is.
293, 1,905 hits, 366 home runs, 1,146 runs, 1,234 runs batted in, a 6-time All-Star, 1-time champ. Good numbers. At 4, I went Mark Grace, 303 batting average, 2,445 hits, 173 home runs, 1,179 runs, 1,146 runs batted in, 3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove, 1-time champion. At 3, Scott Rowland. Even though he had the second lowest batting average, 281, 2,077 hits, 316 home runs, 1,211 runs, 1,287 runs batted in. He was a 7-time All-Star, a Rookie of the Year, 8 Gold Gloves, Ron. You know how I love my Gold Gloves, so I always put guys ahead. 1 Silver Slugger, 1 championship. And how he's put I don't know what I don't know.
He's doing the thing.
All right, go on
poll.
Sports Unfolded Sports Poll. Todd Helton at 2, 316 batting average. What a great batting average for his career. 2,519 hits, 369 home runs, 1,401 runs, 1,406 runs batted in, 5-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove, 4-time Silver Slugger, and a batting title. No championship. Had to keep him out of the number 1 spot because of that. So I went Keith Hernandez. You called it number 1 296 batting average, 2,182 hits, 162 home runs, 1,124 runs, 1,071 RBIs. He's a 5-time All-Star. Ron, 11 Gold Gloves. Sorry, sir. That to me gives him more points. 2 Silver Sluggers, a batting title, an MVP, a 2-time champ, and don't forget, very famously on Seinfeld, as there was a second spitter. So I gave him the number 1 nod based on that.
Just watched that one the other day.
By far one of the best episodes ever.
Oh, it's so great.
Clearly there was a second spitter. Clearly.
All right. So I'll tell you what. We matched.
Wow.
We matched. I was trying to get you to not put
With the Ohtani?
Ohtani last. But if he was to stop playing right now, he wouldn't be better than any of these guys.
Agreed.
So that's what we have to count.
Yep.
That's what we have to count. But when his career is over, I think he's better than all these guys.
He will be,
But
yes,
it's
with his
not,
numbers.
it's not there yet. So that is why he is number 6. Everything matched up. Whatever you said for each one of them was exactly what I was thinking. I have Lance Berkman next up at number 5. And then, again, he might be better than a lot of these guys, too. Maybe. I mean, these are great ball players. Mark Grace is next up, just like you had. Look, I like these players. These are solid players.
And that's what he said. It's harder because there wasn't anybody that just stood out and you're like, wow.
No, there wasn't. They were clumped together, but there was little things here and there that set them apart from somebody else. And then I had Scott Rowland like you did. Love Scott Rowland's numbers. I mean, just wasn't enough to get higher than that. Todd Helton, I think his numbers are way better, but he played in Colorado. I'm sorry. That's why I penalized him. So,
but again,
he didn't get that
316
top
batting
spot.
average.
Yeah.
So even though the Colorado thing, I still 316.
Yes, you
I have
still
no
have to
idea
hit the
what-
ball, right? So,
He just start going out.
but I went with Keith Hernandez, number 1. Look, he's a great ball player. I mean, when you look at those Gold Gloves, 11 of them.
11, dude. I
And
love Gold
then
Gloves.
The 296 batting average, over 1,000 runs and RBI. Hey, he even had 98 stolen bases, by the way. 5-time All-Star, 2 World Series. The only guy on this list that had 2 World Series. So, Keith Hernandez. There you go.
Yes, I agree.
Same
I
list.
agree. Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Could be. Ron,
Could be.
before we get into the predictions, can you tell everybody up there, there's a little banner, pick and roll. How do you get your name of your company on our banner?
It's simple. It's very simple.
It's that simple.
All you have to do is send us an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information, but the only information you really need to know is that it costs less than going to your local coffee shop and buying a chocolate eclair and a large coffee. That's what you need to know. But get on it now, because once those rating numbers come out on the radio, we're going to be sponsored for sure. So you might want to jump on this now. Do it now.
So once again, we are live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are on so many different social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, just to name a few. We're on SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12, every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. If you are watching, join us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. If you're listening to us on WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia, check us out live Friday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Join in.
right? Join us. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think about what's going on in your area. We'd love to cover some of those sports as well. If you have time, check out our social media platforms and like and subscribe to all our pages, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. We are on everything, or X, whatever it's called now. MeWe has been very good to us as well. Check out MeWe if you haven't. Very good social media platform as well. So many different ones. And if you don't have time and you want to pop us up in the car and listen to us audio, we are on all the audio platforms as well. So there's so many different ways you can listen to us: Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn, Podbean podcasts. So check us out on all these platforms. We love the support. We'd love to have you join us live. We'd love to hear from you. Donut bits and stars to us as well, and get a sponsor. We want some sponsors. We want to be able to put thousands of eyes and ears on your business every single week. So remember that. And if you want to just donate and support some money as well, RI Broadcast at Buy Me a Coffee, and you can donate as well there to help us continue to grow our show. We appreciate all the support. Ron, it is prediction time. Rough week last week. I think he's talking about the Celtics right now. They get bored easy. I'm telling you, he's way behind.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's way behind.
I don't know what he's doing.
Last week
I went sleepy from yesterday.
Yeah, 3-5. Ron 4-4. James 3-5. Rough week. If you are joining us live and you would like to give us your picks as well, get your name on our prediction chart, we will add you to it. So many different ways that you can do that as well. We have a lot of fun picking all the top games. So it's tough. You think about it. We picked some of the top games of the week. So it's not like we're picking an easy one. We picked some of the more difficult ones. Sitting at 50%. Yes. Yeah. James, you need to get back on those winning ways. So let's see what you do this week. All right. So Ron, we are starting off with the NBA, and tomorrow night you have the Boston Celtics at the Miami Heat. That is game 3, Ron. Right now the series is tied 1-1. Oh, I'm first this week, aren't I? That's right. I'm going Boston here because they always seem to show up for a game that you think should be the difficult one, and then the one that they should win, they lose. So this is a game they need to win in Miami. I feel like they're going to show up for this one. I'm going Boston.
Yeah, I have Boston winning this one, but I will add, if they lose the series.
Wow. You got the Clover going, little leprechaun. James picking Boston. I love it. Kenny, by the time he gets on, he'll have to just send us his picks because I don't know what part of the show he's on right now. All right, Ron. Also in the NBA, 4/28, so that's Sunday. The New York Knicks at the Philadelphia 76ers. This is game 4. Knicks up 2-1. Philly just big win back at home the other night.
Yeah, I'm going to go Philly here. I think they're going to tie up the series.
I went Philly as well. Joel Embiid, he said it. He said, we're winning this series. And then he goes out and he drops 50. So I think he's determined. He's going to at least even the series up. In New York, as good as they have been all season, they haven't played well in this series. So no. I went Philly as well. James, who do you got? He's trying to find an emoji for the Sixers. I don't. What is that? Is that a Sixer? 70 guys, 76. That's pretty good.
No, it's not Joel Embiid.
No, definitely not. Wow. Ron. On April 26th, that is tonight. What a great series this has been so far in the NHL. The Winnipeg Jets at the Colorado Avalanche. That first game, 7-6. That was just a shootout. Colorado came back game 2 to win. This is the third game of the series. I'm going Colorado at home. This has been a tough series, though. When we said this is probably going 7, I think this goes back and forth. But I think Colorado takes it at home.
I think Colorado wins this game as well. So, look, I think they're not going to lose their first one at home, but they could lose the
Yeah.
second one at home.
Listen, this is a tough series. It really is. It's going to be a great series. Tomorrow night, Ron, Boston Bruins at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Game 4. Bruins up 2-1. Who wins?
I got Boston winning this one. Look, they get fired. They got fired up yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, last game. Marchand is now he's on. Jake DeBrusk is on. And when you take that speed into the factor, they're putting a lot of pressure on that defense. And when Marchand's like this, he's on another planet right now. And I think he is getting under Bertuzzi's skin, and that's what he's using.
Yeah. No, I think a sweep again. Bruins for James. I'm going Bruins. I think they go Swayman. I think Jim Montgomery realizes the importance of keeping the hot goaltender in and taking control of this series instead of making it a 2-2 series. So I'm going Boston here. April 26th starts tonight as well. The New York Yankees at the Milwaukee Brewers, a 3-game series, both in second place, I believe. Milwaukee might be in first, actually.
Milwaukee's in first.
First. New York's in second.
New York is tied in first.
I'm going New York here. I think the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm going Milwaukee. I'm going to take the Brewers, the Brew Crew, at home. It should be a 2-1 series.
He's got the Brew. I love it. James got the Brewers.
Ooh, I could go for one of those. Send one this way. Instead of buying me a coffee, buy me a beer.
You lose 2 of 3 to Oakland. I mean, Yankees are only going up. You lose 2 of 3 to Oakland. Oh boy. Major League Soccer, Ron. Tomorrow, Vancouver Whitecaps football club at the New York Red Bulls. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going Vancouver. They're the better team by far. I just think they roll.
Red Bulls first place, top team in Major League Soccer, right behind Miami. So I went New York Red Bulls. James going Whitecaps. Just a quick side note. We got a little Just for Kicks coming back next Saturday. Manny, Brian joining us again. We're going to talk some football. That is soccer in America. So join us for that as well. That is next Saturday night. So a lot going on with Sports Unfolded. April 28th, Ron, you got the Worth 400. That's in Dover. We need a top 5 driver. We didn't do so well on NASCAR last week. I don't think none of us had a top 15.
Well, we're going to have to do something about that, right?
Yeah. So I went Chase Elliott here. Chase Elliott.
Oh, no explanation, just Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott. He's done very well in Dover. He ran very well in Dover.
Yes, I'm going to go with Kyle Larson. I like his numbers. He's got 1 win. He's got 4 top 5 finishes so far. I'm going to take Kyle Larson. I think he's going to win this race.
James goes Stenhouse. You know what? I didn't even know Michael Jordan owned a NASCAR team. I just found that out. Yeah, just found that out. It's kind of cool. That is our prediction segment. Again,
the Red Sox owners have a NASCAR team.
They own a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we can't. Yeah. Yeah. And LeBron James owns the Red Sox. So I don't understand why you're not a fan. Anyway,
wait, does he?
He's part owner of that. Yeah, he's part of that group.
Oh, well, I'm now a Royals fan.
I will say this. If you want, join us live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Get on our prediction chart. You can tell us who you think's going to win, and we'll add you to our chart. Again, see if you can beat us. See if you can beat us. All right, Ron, it is final thoughts time. But again, before we get into our final thoughts, can you tell everybody one more time how they can sponsor Sports Unfolded and get their name right above my head on this
I
banner?
don't know. Doing it twice is not part of my contract.
Yeah, I know, buddy. Well, we'll give you an extra.
So,
We'll add it
all
to one of your
right.
clauses.
Okay. Then I can do that. So it's very simple. Just send us an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information. And that will, hey, sponsor us for the rest of the year. At the prices that they're at now, it's a bargain. Thousands of eyes and ears on your business. You'll have that, um, yeah, that right there. You'll have your banner there. We will read off the ad so that way not only will they physically see the ad, they will also hear it. So when we're on the podcast or on the radio, they will hear it and you get your business in the public eye and you help out a show that is clearly better than every other sports show out there. And, we can get new things, like a new background. Like I'd like to I'd like to do the show from Fenway Park or the Boston Garden,
Yes.
TD Garden,
How cool would that
you
be?
know? So sponsor the show, send us an email, we'll get you out all the information.
All right. So next week we got a guest as well.
Yes.
So if you want to discuss that as well, Ron.
Yeah, sure. Um, well, she's a soccer coach for youth soccer. She used to be a player. Now she's a coach. She does interviews on a podcast that she does. And Katie will be here next week at 6 o'clock. So don't be late for this one. Love this. She's fantastic. And, just come in, check it out. If you are a coach or an athlete or something, you want to come on, just let us know.
Yeah, definitely. Love to have you on Sports Unfolded. All right, Ron, it is final thoughts time. I am first this week, so I will start with my final thought. And my final thought, honestly, with LeBron James close to being swept, I just wanted to take time to say thank you because this is what makes sports great. There are athletes that we view as villains, but it keeps us involved. We want to see either them fail, right? They're playing your team, it's somebody to root against. That's what makes sports so great. Because we look at all these great athletes, they come and they go, and it gives us reason to debate who's the greatest. Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady. And how many times did we say, right? It's not even close, but you look at the numbers, it is. In Magic and Bird and some of these great players that of all time, we get to witness this in sports, and it's what makes it the most interesting because at the end of the day, you may not like an athlete, but you'll respect what they've done in the sport. And that's what I want to just take out of this is that we may not like LeBron James, the player, but I respect what he's done for the sport of basketball, what he's done in the sport of basketball. I'll still root against him, but that's what makes sports great. You still want to see it. And I think we need to appreciate some of these great athletes because we've been blessed with some of the best ever, like a Michael Jordan, like a Tom Brady, and Wayne Gretzky, and some of these guys that honestly you may never see again in the history of these sports. So, LeBron, good luck. I don't think he's going to get past it. But again, rooting against them, but thank you for what you've done for the game.
That was really nice. That was really nice. I should take away from those Christmas cards lost, right? Because you just made up with LeBron. Well, my final thought goes out to former New England Patriot offensive lineman Corey Cunningham, who was found dead at his home in New Jersey. He was only 28 years old. Yeah, I know he wasn't like, a big star or anything like that, but he is still part of the NFL family. I believe he played for the Giants, and I want to say LA Chargers, but I don't think it was the Chargers. I can't remember who drafted him. But he passed away. He was only 28 years old. And, you know, they don't suspect foul play, but a 28-year-old should not be dying at all. So just want to wish the family our condolences, and, hopefully they can pick up and maybe do something in his name in, the area that he lives. So
Yep. Sad
that's
loss
it.
there. Ron, thank you. Thank you for your final thought. Thank you, everyone that joined us live. James, Chakra, Kenny, you guys have been amazing every single week. We appreciate the support. Again, if you are joining us later on, continue to like, follow, share our show. Very important that we continue to grow and have some fun on all these social media platforms. So, comment, let us know what you think. Thank you, James. I will say this as well. If you are listening to us on WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia, we appreciate the support that we've gotten already. Join in. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know. Follow us on our social media platforms at Sports Unfolded, at Rhode Island Broadcasting. And join us live Friday night, 6 p.m. so that you can get mentioned on our show and then obviously be heard on the radio. How cool is that? Ron, we get to do it all over again next Friday night, so I'm excited. Can't wait. NFL draft round 2 and 3 tonight, so I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit, and a lot of playoff action going on the next couple of days, especially for our team. So I'm sure we'll be watching and chatting it up. Again, take some time, join Sports Unfolded sports poll page, vote for our NFL Hall of Fame nominee to get inducted, and also we call it miscellaneous, but athletes, the great athletes of other sports as well. Those polls are up now, currently open. Help us induct another person into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Ron, we will see you next Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Absolutely.
All we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.